Good morning, everybody, and welcome to 5 Minutes with Seany. Here is your host, Mr. Sean Entin.
Hey, everybody, I'm back. We're back, actually. We've been off the air for this past week, and I wanted to come back on the air with a powerful punch, and sure enough, I'm doing it with a guy named Bas Rutten, who is a UFC champ, Hall of Famer, and an MMA star. Not only is he that, he is a motivational speaker. He owns his own gym. He's a father of 3 daughters, a wonderful husband, and a true friend of mine. I've actually had the pleasure in my past life. And this guy is just so, just such a true, hero of mine. And I wanted to ask him a couple of questions here about how he recovered. He's the epitome of just being the man, hey, Bas, welcome to my show.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I love you, buddy. I'm a huge fan of yours. So, Bas, kind of share with us. Let's back up and tell people who you are a little bit. Let's kind of backdate this. Walk us through. You got into the sport before the sport even existed.
Yeah, it's I was a very sick kid. Let's start with that. I had a horrible skin disease in my arms, legs, and my neck and hands. And besides that, I also had severe asthma. I had severe asthma attacks and then just regular asthma. But I would have an attack like every 5-6 weeks. Would be a week or 8 days in bed because I couldn't even eat because I couldn't breathe 24/7 like this. So it's gnarly. You lose a lot of weight every time you go, fluctuating weight up and down. Needless to say, with the skin disease and everything, you're a target of bullies, and that all changed for me when I was 12 years old. Well, it didn't change yet there, but I went on a vacation with my family to France, and we saw a movie, Enter the Dragon, from Bruce Lee. We sneaked in.
Wow.
I
love that movie.
And I thought, if I'm going to become like that guy, I think the bullying will stop. So I started training. My mom and dad wouldn't allow me. It took a long time for them to say yes after 2 years. And then I started training with Taekwondo was my first art with the adults. I trained with the adults. I had a guy who kept me under his wing. He brought me, took me under his wing, and he brought me to the adult classes. And it went really well. Within months, I was beating up the brown belts there. These were adults.
Yeah, and then your pro career started. It's got to start shortly there because the UFC wasn't even around then. You were fighting in Japan. In what organization again?
It's an organization called Pancras, but that was in '93. So the whole thing, the whole bullying led up to everything that I did in my life. I Thai boxed in between, and then I went to Pancras, September 21st, 1993. That was the first time I went overseas with a plane. I never did that. We were traveling in Europe, but I never had a plane ride. So a 13-hour plane ride out, that was quite an experience for me. And then knocking my first guy out, and the next day people started bowing to me on the street. It was the craziest experience I've ever had. And then I realized I was in all the newspapers, because I knocked the guy out, and it was pretty severe. 3 days in the hospital. But thankfully he came out. He became a good friend of mine, actually. And that's where the career started.
Wow. Okay. And then, so let's talk about this for a second. Okay. Let's go. You started fighting, and then you mentioned something so profound. It wasn't about your victories. It's about your losses. You lost to Ken Shamrock, and then you got upset and said, "I'm going to learn this game and this sport." And then after that, you were undefeated.
Yeah, that's the thing. You learn the most from the wins. You don't learn anything. You did good. You won the fight. You're not going to look at that. But the losses, you're going to dissect what you did wrong. So you learn the most from the losses. And unfortunately for me, it was my 4th loss, 3rd by submission. So I knew that, I was a striker. I had to learn the submission game. And that's when I turned up. I just told myself, if I'm not going to change, I'm never going to be a world champion. I might get lucky one time, but then I can't defend the title. So I started focusing 2-3 times a day solely on submissions. I won my next 8 fights by submission, and I never lost a fight. 22 wins in a row. So
amazing.
Yeah, so
amazing. Okay, so hey, Bas, some more questions for you. Okay, so you started this whole thing. What could you tell the world, the veterans out there, the people who work, every day to protect the country, the police officers, the firemen, what's your advice, once you go down to get back up? I know that you speak all the time on this.
It's all about that. That's what life is about. It's about failing something and then overcoming that, whatever you were failing at. I truly believe that's your goal in life. You know, yeah, of course, the goal in life is to go up to heaven and to do that, but that's a big part of it, what I just talked about. So as long as you stay positive, and that's what I always did, even with my eczema and my asthma and all the bullies, I always knew there were people out there who had it way worse than I. That's a line I used a lot. I told myself a lot. There's always people out there who have an asthma attack, not for a week, but 365 days a week.
Exactly. You know, boss, one of my lines I use all the time in this is, I cried when I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. And there's so many men out there who have no feet. And here I am, at least walking, even though my brain injury off a choke, I'm still coming back because I look at you every day and go, you know what, if this guy can do it, I can do it. So that's what I look at.
Yeah, you have a little bit, it was more severe. It's in the brain, dude. Everything starts.
Yeah, but boss.
It was just on the outside.
Right, boss. So let me ask you one more thing here is, how did you heal yourself? What do you do? I know you're at 52, you're in top shape. I know your fighting career is totally done, but what do you do? I mean, you've been beat up, you've been punched, you've been submitted, you've raised a wonderful family, big career now, huge business. You're on TV all the time. What do you do to heal yourself?
You know, I just working out every day. I like pool workouts, you know, resistance. I use resistance tools in the pool. And I go to the gym, but I don't do any fighting anymore. I have four neck surgeries, four fusions, front and back. So I said, well, the doctor tells me, yeah, you can still spar. I go, no, it's not going to happen because one wrong move and it can mess it up all again. I'm just going to do my power training, conditioning. I hike. I do hill sprints here at my house next door. I have a big hill. Where I get my shape, my conditioning from, and the rest, it's either the pool or it's my gym.
I mean, the warrior status of you. I mean, I've heard people tell me you train SEALs, you train Delta Force, you train the elite athletes in the world, and I'm sure they come to you looking up and going, "Wow, I'm getting trained by Bas Rutten." What do you tell these guys?
You know, again, it's all these guys. They're the best guys to train because they already understand everything, and understanding is what I always say is being calm. If you can be calm in any situation, you're going to be good in anything you do. Whether you're a lawyer, a fighter, or whatever it is, it's pressure.
A mother, a wife, a husband. Right? I get it, and that's so true because on the show we have so many people who come on the show who've watched their loved ones go down with an injury, whether it's brain injury or stroke or cancer, and they're lost. And the biggest thing I say to people, which is so true, Bas, is just to keep calm and breathe. It'll all work itself out and keep pushing forward. And Bas, I got to tell you, thank you so much for being on my show. I want to have you back again. And, we're neighbors and I love you to death. And thank you for just being my hero and inspiring me.
Thank you, Sean. You're an inspiring person. Let me tell you that. Love you too.
I don't want to wrestle with you anymore, though. My neck's off limits, too.
Me neither.
Okay, buddy. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. This is 5 minutes with Seany. You can check us out at SeanyEntin.com. Bas, you want to plug your Facebook website or your Facebook?
Facebook.com/Bas Rutten, BASRUTTEN. Just go there, and that's most of the time where I post things. On Twitter, Bas Rutten MMA. I answer questions. If people ask me questions, that's the only thing I do on Twitter.
Okay, I got one question left, or two. You're now on a TV show here with Kevin James. What's the name of the show?
Kevin Can Wait on CBS every Monday night.
I love that. Okay, one last thing. You fought Ken and Frank Shamrock. Who was tougher?
Well, at the time when I fought, Ken was, at that time, Ken was tougher because he had more experience than Frank. When I fought Frank the last time, Frank was tougher because he was just a better fighter. He was the better all-round fighter. So there were two different guys. Frank was also the guy with the stamina who could keep pushing. Very talented guy. Okay,
buddy. Well, thank you, Bas. And we'll talk soon. We'll have you back again. And thank you just so much for doing what you're doing. And I salute you. You're my hero. And thanks a lot, buddy.
I appreciate it. God.